Good morning and welcome to the Daily Cyber Briefing for Monday, the 14th of October. I'm Stephen Ridgway. Hope you all had a good weekend and are raring to go for the week ahead. Foxit PDF Reader has vulnerabilities that allow attackers to execute arbitrary code. Article in GB Hackers. That actually came out a couple of days ago, so I'm slightly late to the party with this one, but still definitely worth bringing it to your attention. So, for those of you that don't know, Foxit PDF is one of the more commonly used alternatives to Adobe Acrobat. There are versions around for all sorts of operating systems. It's very commonly used. However, it has got a vulnerability at the moment. So if you are a user of Foxit, check that you are on the latest version patches. Although I'm not entirely certain when the patches are released. If they aren't out already, they should be out very soon. And also, there are, in the same article, GB Hackers article, they've identified that there are vulnerabilities in Veertu's, Veertu, Veertu's Anchor build, which is software. It's a software suite used for testing macOS and iOS applications as part of the CI/CD pipeline. So again, if you are using that particular software as part of developing macOS or iOS applications, check for patches and updates, as again, vulnerabilities could be exploited in those environments. Okay. It appears that Google has begun to switch off certain extensions that rely on Manifest v2. Talked about this a few weeks back as something that was coming. It is now, there are now reports that certain extensions don't work. The reason for this, of course, is Google, Google has updated Manifest to, I'm guessing, V3. V3, which requires a different set of it's a different standard to which an awful lot of existing extensions don't meet. So they don't meet the new current standard. The standards have changed so much that some things would really struggle to work in the way that they worked before, and that includes a certain amount of security tooling. So the one that has been called out in this particular article from Bleeping Computer is the uBlock Origin extension. Now, uBlock is very extensively used by anybody who wants to have proper control over adverts and so on and so forth, what the browser is actually doing. There are now reports popping up saying that it no longer follows best practices for extensions and may soon no longer be supported. So watch out with this. If you are using extensions in your browser as part of your browser protections, definitely would recommend that you check to see whether the extensions are going to be compatible with Manifest v3, and if your current versions aren't going to be compatible, hopefully there will be a compatible version that you can move on to, or alternatively, you may have to start looking again for alternatives in this space. I don't know enough to know whether I'm in favour or against Manifest v3. I'm concerned when security extensions become disabled because of what the developers, owners, whatever, may have done. So I would recommend a little bit of research to see what's going on with your particular environment, and make sure that any extensions that you rely on for security are going to continue to work, or that you've got an upgrade path to something that will work. There will also be, I think, a move to align other Chrome to this sort of stuff. So, but in the meantime, if you're using uBlock Origin, it works fine on Firefox, Brave, and Vivaldi, and they say they're going to continue to support Chrome Manifest v2. So it may be, at least for the moment, a specifically Chrome issue. These things happen. I've got a handful of browsers that I alternate through. Chrome is in there. Do tend to come back to Chrome quite regularly because it is quite a good browser, in my opinion. But it isn't always. There have been some terrible performance issues with it over the years, and so on and so forth. So, if you are bothered about these sorts of things, and if you can't work out a path to remain supported, well, consider using Firefox for a while, or or Brave, or one of the other browsers that are out there until this has settled back down again. And then finally, from me today, there's a report in the Register that is identifying that nation-state attackers and ransomware groups and pretty much everybody else are focusing much more on educational establishments than perhaps we are cognizant of in the cyber defense world. I know if you're working in education, I'm sure you're absolutely aware of this, but a lot of the rest of us will look at it and go, well, yeah, okay, we know, yeah, all right, schools, yeah, always under attack, yeah, universities, always under attack, blah, blah, blah. However, what about healthcare? What about finance? What about this? What about that? So the article makes some good reading. What you've got to bear in mind is educational establishments not only hold a great deal of PII, when we know that PII has a certain amount of value on the black market, but increasingly nation states are looking for, certainly for if they're targeting universities, they're looking for intellectual property. They're looking for AI training information. They're looking basically to shortcut and circumvent the hard work in order to get information that could be used to assist their own programs, which are then not consistently used for the good of mankind, frankly. So when thinking about what to do with these things, have some sympathy with people working in educational environments. They are highly complicated, lots of legacy debt. They're generally difficult to secure. I come from an academic background, so I'm kind of aware of this. Academics consider sharing information to be a good thing. Therefore, often in the mentality of academics, securing stuff isn't necessarily the first thing on their minds. That is kind of pervasive in the approach to research. So yeah, there are bits of research that people keep secret, and I'm well aware of people, academics that sit on results and don't publish them for whatever reasons. So got myself tied up in knots with that when I was doing my PhD years and years ago. But either way, there's a general feeling that having stuff that's open is better than having stuff that follows good security standards. And also, then you've got to think about schools and academic environments are full of people that will attempt to circumvent any controls that you put in place, because the controls are they're restricting what. If I can't do what I want, I'll find a way of doing what I want. Like school kids using VPNs. Back when my kids were in secondary school, they were very adept at using VPNs in order to bypass the security controls on the school's Wi-Fi. The other side of it is, of course, educational establishment, IT and cybersecurity are often poorly funded. A small number of very overworked individuals attempting to prioritize and deliver security across complicated environments with, as I say, plenty of legacy debt and a poor adherence to good security practice by the users. So it's a difficult environment, but the stuff is it's out there, it is happening. If you're interested in this area, this is a good place to begin to look into what's currently going on. And so, we'll link the Register article to the briefing. So that's all from me.